And through the drifts the snowy cliffs did send a dismal sheen, nor shapes of men nor beasts we ken, the ice was all between. Welcome back, I'm walloficecream, and we're playing some Brawl on MTG Arena. So we got our 6 wins playing Knight's Charge. Very powerful deck. The burst of playing the commander just ends the game as soon as the commander is played. Seems like the entire deck is focused towards the commander being played. Savage Hunter has better cards than Knight's Charge. Very synergistic deck. However, we were drawing cards and just wanted to draw cards so badly that we were just being crushed by Knight's Charge. Wild Bounty was anti-synergistic, but I guess it doesn't matter because you only get to see a small portion of the deck at one time. Our opponent just made a quick mistake and attacked with a menace creature, thinking we wouldn't block with a precious creature that allows us to draw cards. Well, we don't need to draw cards. Our commander allows us to draw cards. So now we'll try Fairy Schemes. Esper. Esper is Alela, Artful, Provocateur. This was the second most played deck we played against. So it's flying and death touch and lifelink. There's cards with death touch and lifelink and flying in 2/3 and cost 2 black and 1 colorless, and they're baddies. They still get played today in Mono Black Devotion. So here is why is it costing 1 mana more? Well, other creatures with your control of flying get +1/+0 whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell. Create a 1/1 blue fairy token with flying. So this, I hope, is synergistic with flying creatures. We saw some flyers. We got Scrabbling Claws. Looks like just junk for Alela. So I guess you're supposed to hold Witching Well, Scrabbling Claws, and Bag of Holding. Just supposed to, like, just fodder. I don't appreciate fodder because saw some people like turn 1 playing Witching Well and then never sacrificing Witching Well because they were under pressure. And the Witching Well could have given them a 1/1 blue creature with flying, so Witching Well's actually more like a 5 mana 1/1 flying creature that lets you untap 4 lands. It's kind of what it ends up being. Corridor Monitor is an artifact, so here's an enchantment. 1/+1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. That's very powerful. They had 1 mana versions of this, and it's played in Boggles. But I don't see anything wrong with 2 mana versions of this. Gossamer Chains for 3 mana. I hope I'm saying that card right. It gives you +1/+1 for each card in your hand. Those cards are very powerful in the right deck. Ancestral Blade, same card as Knights. Frogify. Oh, I must have said Frogify wrong in the last video. I was talking about a different card with a frog in the picture. Arcane Signet, of course, is back. Golden Egg is back. Guild Globe. It's an Implements of Sacrifice. Animating Fairy, so with a Fairy Tribal. It doesn't actually say that other fairies get +1/+0. It just says creatures with flying, so the fairy creature type doesn't matter as much. Empyrean Eagle, other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. So this is kind of what smashed us, is you have Imperial Eagle with Alela out and casting artifacts, you have 3/2 tokens that cost no mana at all. Shine Chaser, Shambling Suit, Mace of Valiance. This is highly synergistic. Prison Realm, Oblivion Ring, Scries 1. Winged Words, cost 1 less to control a creature with flying, draw 2 cards. I think this would see play in like Azorius Kitty and Pauper. Just 2 mana, draw 2 cards. It's better divination. People try so hard for like Perilous Research, and it's blue 1 and you have to sacrifice a permanent to draw 2 cards. And people play that in Affinity. So people should play Winged Words and Azorius Kitty. Azorius Value Town, basically, if you don't know what Azorius Kitty is. Lawmage's Binding, it's an Arrest with Flash, which is excellent. They've printed like an Arrest Well, they printed like a pacifism for 1 mana, which is an arrest. It's white 2, can't attack or block, and its abilities can't be activated. They've printed pacifisms for 3 mana before, so it's fine. Mortify, it's not Vindicate, but from people I've heard, people who weren't playing Mortify in RTR standard because it's worse than Vindicate, found out that the number of times you just wanted to destroy an artifact or a land actually isn't that high. Vindicate was a nice Stone Rain early on, but if you don't like Vindicate turn 2 or 3, then you're not destroying lands ever. So it's actually not that much worse than Vindicate. Heraldic Banner, absolutely amazing looking. We've got 4 Heraldic Banners just for playing the event. Adds 1 mana of any color, or of a chosen color. So it's kind of like a Fire Diamond, Sky Diamond cycle. But it doesn't come into play tapped. So you could think of it as like a Chromatic Lantern kind of card for 3 colorless. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm mixing my words up. Just don't kill me in the comments for mixing my words up. So we have a Mana Geode. I guess it's like a second Heraldic Banner. Arcanist's Owl. Enters that battlefield. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal an enchantment artifact from among them, put it in your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. There was like Hidden Stag. What was it? White 4 for its 2/5 creature that would search for enchantments. Maybe it's a different kind of stag. It's 4 hybrid mana, which seems difficult to play with Alela because we're playing with like 4 swamps. So we get in one of these swamps and we can't play this with 4 land cards. Honestly, I think this deck would be okay if they could just like fill this deck with like 20 Mana Geodes and Alela. I think this deck would be fine. If you can believe it. If Alela just doesn't die, then this deck could just use all the mana ramp in the world, and mana doesn't matter, and then these cards might just be getting in the way. But Massacre Girl, anti-synergistic with our tokens, but I don't know. We'll see. Shimmer Dragon, 5/6 flying, so it's a fatty modi, and it has hexproof via 4 artifacts. You can tap 2 artifacts to draw a card. So I love these, like a Sphinx of Magosi. You keep seeing these cycles just show around. It's like, oh, it's just like this card, just like this card. They don't print the exact cards as before, so you can't exactly judge its power, but it looks very powerful. Bloodsoaked Halter. We had this card. We never had a creature in play to sacrifice a creature to make a creature with flying. But Innistrad was a good set when there was synergies with Morbid. And Morbid's not in this set, so this seems weaker. I don't even know if this is playable. Obviously, it works better in this deck because there's 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying. But then, like, you're paying 6 mana for the altar, you're paying 2 life and a card to upgrade your fairy to a 5/5 flying, and if your opponent like has a terror, like this could backfire a lot. Like you could just be wasting an entire turn playing your Blood-Soaked Altar and not have a creature. So it's a huge investment. I don't think there's enough time, even in this format, for Blood-Soaked Altar. Banish into Fables. If you have an artifact, copy it. If you control an enchantment, copy it. So you can return 3 permanents to its owner's hands. You can create 3 White Knight creatures with Vigilance. I just love Recantation. It's from Urza's Saga from 2 blue and 3 colorless. You put a verse counter on every turn, and then you can remove all the verse counters and sacrifice Recantation and return X permanents to owner's hands. Recantation, if you're just returning like 4 or 5 permanents, not even all of them, just the good ones, is so powerful. I love Recantation, and I think Banish into Fable. I'd like to see the power level of it. I can't really judge it right now. Safara's Skyblade. People are playing Safara's Skyblade Modern, with token decks. Other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. I'd love to see this card. I can't really comment on the big creatures. Workshop Elders we completely smoked. It says artifact creatures you control have flying. Spent 7 mana on a 4/4 creature, and we just blew it up with like a couple, like less than like half that mana. I don't know if it gets out of hand. It can get out of hand. We'll have to see. Oh, we need to click this one. Wrong button. Senior moment. Alright, we're playing the mirror. I think we have to do a free mulligan. I think we need 3 lands. Sure. We'll give our little opponent a hello. Kind of weird, but we might just skip this whole thing and just throw everything on playing Alela turn 4 into massive stuff turn 5. So we'll just Shambling Suit turn 3 and then Alela turn 4, and hopefully we can get all these down turn 5. Okay, okay. Woo! Oh, he's just taking 10. Okay. This might be our opponent, like, giving up, or he has a board wipe. He does have a time wipe. He can time wipe, return Corridor Monitor. and kill our Alela and our giant, beautiful board. But not with a tapped Xoria's Guild Gate. That's... okay, I don't understand now. Our opponent's giving up the Ghost. Give him a look. I don't get it. Get ready for the fun! He's like, maybe I'll just die. I mean, if he has a time wipe, good on him. We can replay Alela. Start all over again. If he doesn't have it, then thinking, does he have the time wipe? He does not have a time wipe. Well, I'm sorry that you're alive. Okay, good job. You don't have enough mana to equip your face to the... yeah! Oh, 6-7. Very nice. Wow. Nice! What does his leg draw to? Yeah. What was in the top of her deck? It doesn't like us. Yeah. All right, that's easy peasy. The event's gonna be over in 15 minutes. Our game might just end in less than 15 minutes. So, I think it's a good point to just close off. You've seen all four decks. They seem pretty equal. It does seem that it matters the way you play the deck. Opponents that were playing like Wishing Well on turn 1 didn't understand how the fairy deck worked, how important the 2/1 flyers were. So it does seem like there's some concentration needed to play these decks, some skill. I do think of the four decks, Dragon seems most unbalanced to me. Just without the commander, the deck can still just keep growing and going off. It seems to me that fairies and Esper both really badly needed their commanders to win the game. Knight's Charge might be dirtling too much, but the commander is the most explosive. I think the commander is the strongest of the four commanders. As the game just ends when he comes into play, it throws 3 equipments on him and just bashes. So it might explain why we're seeing mostly Knight's Charges. It could also just be that it was first out of 4, and people are like, I don't know. We'll pick a number between 1 and 4. We'll just pick first because I'm number 1. Anyway, that's Throne of Eldraine. We didn't get to actually play every single card. It would take hours. But it was a pretty nice event. It was free. You get to play as much as you want. You get levels and gold and stuff. So I liked it. I wish Magic the Gathering would do more of these events to get at least like people who've never played Magic ever before, just throwing a deck in their hands and letting them play it out. Thanks for watching.
Friends, Wall of Ice Cream has a Facebook page. Check it out and send your fan mail to Gmail or ideas for new content. And see my previous videos at Yudioshlet. Not Wall of Ice Cream yet. Getting to 100 subscribers and I'll change it to Wall of Ice Cream. Or you can come play with me on PlayStation. My username's Wall of Ice Cream, and see me on Twitch, Wall of Ice Cream. I might be there on Sundays. Thanks for watching.